In 1619, English settlers in New England would go down in history as the first Thanksgiving celebrated by the Pilgrims. Some 50 years later, the English settlers were the cause of the indigenous people waging war against them, usurping their English rule upon the Indians. King Philip's War, also known as the First Indian War, the Great Narragansett War of Metacom's Rebellion, took place in southern New England from 1675 to 1676. It was the Native Americans' last-ditch effort to avoid recognizing English authority and stop English settlement on their native lands. The war is named after the Wampanoag chief Metacom, later known as Philip or King Philip, who led the 14-month bloody rebellion. That first Thanksgiving was never meant to give honor and thanks to the real God. Instead, their motive was to lead the Indians down a path of surrender of the land and resources of the New World. But how can we romanticize the one, Thanksgiving, and forget the other, the brutal slaughter of over 24,000 Wampanoag? At the Pilgrims' first Thanksgiving in 1621, chief among the honored guests was Massasoit, the Sakim of the Wampanoag. 55 years later, colonial soldiers walked through Plymouth with their horrible spoils of war, the severed head of Masyot's son, King Philip, on a stake. It was the end of a bloody conflict between the Wampanoag and the English on the frontier of Plymouth Colony. 800 colonists were slaughtered and whole settlements reduced to ashes. The Native Americans suffered even worse, devastated by disease and famine, thousands slain or sold into slavery. The native peoples of New England were all but destroyed. 300 years later, their fight for freedom is all but erased from the history books. King Philip's War expands our understanding of American history and provides insight into the nature of colonial and ethnic wars in general. Through careful reconstruction of events, first-person accounts, period illustrations, and maps, King Philip's War brings this harrowing yet overlooked chapter of our nation's past into full view.
First English Thanksgiving in Virginia. On 4 December 1619, Captain John Woodlief, a member of the Virginia Company, arrived aboard the ship Margaret with 35 men to take charge of Berkeley Hundred. An experienced former Jamestown settler, he became Berkeley's first governor. He bore instructions that the day of his ship's arrival be yearly and perpetually kept holy as a day of thanksgiving to Almighty God. Beginning in 1958, the Virginia First Thanksgiving Festival commemorated this directive as the first English Thanksgiving in North America, with an annual reenactment at nearby Berkeley Plantation.